All right, so 2 videos in one day. Already had a WoW video out, and this is what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and squeeze a little bit of New World into the channel, but without disrupting the TVC content too much. That's my aim. I hope I achieve it. But obviously, if more people start shifting towards New World, then I might put it in favour of New World a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, the way the game looks, I can see a lot of people trying it, getting hooked, and not wanting to log off it. I mean, our guild are slowly all shifting towards New World, even though it's only the closed beta, and we know by the time it launches, it's only going to be better, it's going to be smoother. At the moment, a couple of issues that are going on, obviously, is like queue times and random disconnects and stuff like that, but it's a closed beta. They've probably got more people playing it than they initially expected, so you expect, you know, the odd issue or two. You just take it. But look, let me give you a rundown of what I've achieved over the last few days, and then I'm going to tell you some tips. I mean, if you're playing New World yourself and you've found this video, there might be some useful tips for you in this video, but I'm really going to be talking about things that I've done so far, what I've achieved in the last few days, what I've found out along the way, maybe even what I wish I knew to start with, and some of it might seem really basic, but you genuinely might not know. So firstly, I'm level 23, I think, or 22. I've not logged on today, and I had a few beers last night. I'm 22 or 23, and I've got my player house. I've got my first player house, which is awesome. It's only small, don't get me wrong, just a small house, not got a lot in it, but I am going to be focusing on furnishing it a little bit. Sounds really sad, but I'm really excited about it. I've done a lot of crafting, specifically engineering, and I've just changed to life staff. So weapon wise, what I've tried so far, I've used hatchets, which is my highest level weapon, which is 11. I've used spear, I've used rapier, and I've just switched to life staff and ice gauntlet. Reason being, no one was really that bothered about healing, and I was expecting to go life staff and really sort of gimp myself while running around questing. But it's really powerful. It's not powerful in PvP at all, as in dueling, because I was trying that last night. I was getting destroyed. In group PvP, obviously, it's amazing because you can heal, you can debuff, you can do all these, you know, little bits and bobs that you wouldn't be able to do if you were just focusing on DPSing. And healing dungeons is fun, but man, it's stressful. I feel like I've got a lack of control to what I would ordinarily have, like in WoW as a healer or something like this. This is quite, at the moment, because I've not got many points in it. I'll be honest, at level 25, it's a 25 dungeon. You know, we've only done the first one, Armine Excavation or Amine Excavation, however you want to pronounce it. And doing them with a level 5 or 6 weapon, which is what I had, you know, as in how many skill points I had in it at the time, because I think about 3 hours before we was going to go to the dungeon, I switched to the life staff. I think by the time you're 25 and doing the first dungeon, a typical healer would probably have 11 or 12 points probably in the weapon, which would make a big difference. So I was struggling along with quite basic sort of abilities from the weapon. So that will play a part. But that's where my focus is going to be over, well, definitely for today, just trying to get that weapon skill up as quick as possible. And to be fair, if you didn't know, getting weapon skill in PvP is so much quicker than anywhere else. You get a few hits on an enemy in PvP and you get a massive chunk of weapon XP. So if you're looking for a quick way to level a new weapon, get a few of you together, flag for PvP, run around, get a few kills, and your weapon skill will level up quick. So there you go, there's a tip in the video straight away. And then going back to crafting, so I said I've done a lot of crafting, and there's a few things in the game that you need and that you don't even realise you'll need. So if we think about the way it's laid out and we look at the map, there's basically a settlement in every single area of the map, and you can have individual storage in each of those areas. And I think the way I'm going to be playing that, I'm generally going back to the place where my house is, you know, so the settlement where my house is, that's where I go and craft, that's where I go and refine all my materials and stuff like that. But that's not where I go and gather. So there's one particular zone that I actually like running around and doing mining in. So on the basis that I'm mining that zone, and I go back to my normal, where my house is, I can fast travel to the zone where I want to mine, and then in that storage is where I can keep my mining equipment. And you're probably like, well, why don't you just walk around with your mining equipment on? Because you've got a chance of getting rare stuff when you mine, skin, log, all that type of thing, you know, timber, like cutting down trees, timber and all that, which people don't realise. So I've seen a lot of people moaning that they can't get a particular type of ore called Fey iron. and it comes from iron, as you would imagine, but it's rare. It's quite rare to get. So you need, like, on your mining pick, for example, it's got a chance. Well, mine has got a chance when mining to find rare items, the same as I've got a pair of gloves with that exact same proc on. So, well, item perk. So I've got, you know, about 7 or 8% chance of finding rare stuff when I mine. The thing I'm not 100% sure on, and you know, we would need to gather loads of data to even know this, is if there's even a small chance. You know, do you have a base percentage chance to find rare stuff without these? I'll be honest with you, I would say no, because before using these, I must have mined 100 iron deposits and got nothing. And then as soon as I started using these, I'm not saying I'm getting thick and fast, but they at least are now turning up after 30, 40 minutes worth of mining. So it definitely makes a big difference. So if there's a certain zone you go to do certain things, like if you go to craft, because you can get, you know, crafting perks that give you a better chance on a roll when you make a weapon and stuff like that. So you would keep that in the town storage where you're going to go back and craft. So, you know, actually utilizing storage is important, and that's something that I've personally learned over the last couple of days. But I tell you now, the crafting's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And if you know you need a tool for each type of a thing you do, so you need a skinning knife when you're skinning, you need, you know, an axe to chop down trees, you need this, that, the other, mining pick. Now you'll shortly into the game, well, pretty much straight away, be able to make iron tools. Now don't just settle for making don't just make one. Don't go, oh, I'll upgrade to an iron pickaxe and make one and then that's it. You want to try and make a few until you get one proc that's green and has got a decent perk on. Or you can insert Azoth that you collect in the world, and then that Azoth will basically guarantee you that it's going to be green. And that's what I do personally. I use the Azoth to craft like 10, 11, 12 of them until I get the perk that I want. So if I want to just go around and get massive amounts of iron and I'm not bothered about the actual amount, the actual rare things that come in the iron, then I'll use a mining pick that gives me a better yield per mine. If I'm trying to get the rare gems or the rare ore or anything like that, then I'll use, like, basically we'll call it magic find. Then I use the magic find iron pick. So, you know, understanding that and not just settling for making don't just make a steel. When you upgrade to steel, which you can start using at level 20, don't just make a steel pickaxe. Keep making steel pickaxes until you get one or two that you know you're going to want to use. And let's talk about the dungeon. You know, I'm a big PvE player. I'm enjoying PvP in not so much since I actually went live stuff, but I am enjoying PvP. But you know, PvE is what I'm always about, and the dungeon is fun. We done it. So we done the dungeon last night with nobody being level 25. So it's a level 25 dungeon, but none of us was 25, and we done it without a tank, and we done it with a really gimped healer, which was me. As I say, I'd only been leveling the life star for a few hours, so it was not ideal. And we had to adapt on how we do things, but we done it. And I'll be honest with you, it's really interesting, you know, as in we've been there twice. The first night we went there, we couldn't kill the last boss. The second time we went there, as in last night, we died a couple of times until we worked out exactly how we're going to do it, you know, as in having one dedicated person using an ice gauntlet to kite the ads, one person trying to keep as much threat on the boss as possible and basically kite him and just roll when he does the big heavy smashes. And then obviously I was just like a headless chicken, just trying to get as much healing on anyone as I could whilst also keeping damage up. So here's the thing that's really cool, or what I've found just from doing that dungeon twice, it's extremely punishing. I'm not going to say it's the hardest thing in the world, you know, but it's punishing. You can be really, really pro, but you take your eye off the game just for a second, 2 seconds, and you're dead. And you know, it really can happen that quick. So you have to be paying attention all the time. Consumables play a massive part as well. And the reason I say consumables play a massive part is because you basically get like a health buff and a mana buff that you can keep up all the time. So if you're playing the game or if you're not playing the game, you get light rations, you get energizing rations, etc., etc. So you know, one type of ration will give you health. So like you eat in most games to get your health back, but then it also gives you a buff for 15-20 minutes, depending on which level of the food you use, which restores health, like, you know, every second. And then you've got the mana version as well, which restores mana every second. But then you can also get focus potions, which increases your mana regen rate. Obviously then you get health potions, mana potions, you get a wide array of consumables, but you need to use them. You know, it really is you can rely on the healer, and I'm sure the healers are going to get stronger and stronger. And some of you guys playing who are in your 40s, 50s, or maybe even 60 already, you might feel like pure god mode and no one can die when you're healing. Me, however, at the moment, it don't feel that great, so I'm relying on my team to be using potions, to be using health potions. So if you're in like that WoW mindset, a World of Warcraft mindset, you know, where the healer just keeps you up, you know, like even if you've got health potions, you don't even look at using them because the healer's job is to make sure you stay alive. You're probably going to die a lot. You need to make sure you're using consumables. And while I'm on the WoW mindset, you need to get out of it. I'm trying to force myself out of it. You know, when I'm in a dungeon and I'm like, oh, I'm a healer. So you're not. You know, you've got two weapons for a reason. So if no one needs any heals, either switch to something to keep things crowd controlled or stunned, or, you know, we need to get out of that, like, this is exactly what I am. And the same goes for the weapons. You know, I really like the spear, and I really like, I don't know, let's say that the hatchet throwing. I love the hatchet throwing. But there could be a moment in time or a particular boss where it would be better to use a different weapon. You know, just even if it's not that leveled up, but there could be a couple of skills or a couple of passives that will really help on a boss. Maybe putting slows on it, maybe interrupting, maybe stunning, knocking down, whatever. You know, you need to really like branch out a little bit rather than fixating on, oh, right, I'm playing a game, I'm going to be a spearman. It's like, well, you can be a spearman, but remember there will be times when it might be useful to have a level 5 ice gauntlet with you, you know, just to be able to put some slows on, like we had to last night. No one had a particularly high leveled ice gauntlet, but we knew it would make it easier. And I heard that another group that cleared the instance, they used 5 life staffs. They just literally had 5 people just stood there with life staffs, just all healing each other. You know, there's cheesy ways of doing things, but you need to be prepared to just get out of that, shake that WoW mindset off. And remember, it's a different game. It plays different. Everything's different. You know, work it out as you go along, basically. But I'm going to be doing plenty of videos on New World going forward. So if you're here for the New World content, obviously make sure you like and subscribe. Plenty of TBC content every week as well. But I'm going to be doing deep dives into all the weapons, or the instances, or the you name it. You know the sort of content that's going to come. So make sure you smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.